Evening, everyone. I'm back. I want some serious coffee at the moment. It was a good party on Tuesday night. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me. My mum and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, and we had a great time in what are very different times. And it's very different times that brought us all together with the chain gang, and great to see everybody having a good ride. I spoke to a few people who were there on Tuesday, and they were letting me in on all of the scary details. As you might notice, we're just on the reserve webcam. We just broken down the main broadcasting webcam. Blew that up in a pile of smoke earlier on, which means that we're going to be on the couch for a better webcam, I think. So if you just happen to have one lying around at home that is better than our reserve one, which makes me look all washed out, believe me, I have got a proper suntan. I just look like a ghost in this light. Let me know, and we'll be ready to chuck it back into the broadcast. We might have a bit better picture of me to stop you from going quite so blind. You need a proper pair of Oakleys to go on. So we're running into the last day of being in France for a while, because we are in Paris for the Champs-Élysées, and we are on the 6th of the stages. We had a hilly stage, a sprinter stage, we had the mountain stage, and another sprinter stage. We had a rouleurs, a hilly stage again. This time round we are on the Champs-Élysées, and we have a long running 3.2k, and then 6 laps of the traditional circuit, finishing on the main finishing line as well. Let's see how that's going to play out. Let's see if we can get in touch with the man himself, with Russ. And the question is, has he got his headphones in? Is he going to pick up? Let's see if it connects. Oh, Mr. Downing, how are you?
I'm alright, mate.
Good. We are back live once again. Sorry for missing last Tuesday's ride. I hear it was a bit brutal and rather quick.
Very quick. Yeah, the bear wasn't happy at times, but he probably brings it on himself, doesn't he? But yeah, it was all good fun, mate. It made good commentary for sure. Yeah, it was good. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone loved it as normal. So yeah, it wasn't bad. Few blips actually. A few people had dropouts and that. I think that's what made it a bit tough for us, trying to keep everything together. I was going backwards, forwards, backwards, whatever.
Always tricky, isn't it? And I'm in the fortunate position of being able to watch everything going on. And even for me, when I'm not riding, I struggle to keep track of where everybody is, and even harder when you're riding. Trying to do it a shorter circuit tonight, though, from our 24k monsters that we've been doing, down all the way down to 6.6k per lap. So it's 3.2 leading, and then 6 laps, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that gets us. Like I said, that gets us. Just we're going to finish at the orange tonight. You know, we've played around with one orange, we've gone green, but you know, let's go to the official one. We'll have a countdown on the 100 meters to go on that. So yeah, let's do it proper.
That sounds good. And of course, Connor Swift, of course, the man who sort of kicked all the inspiration off for this 6 stages that we have there, is going to be in action again, and hopefully going to be on the real McCoy at the weekend.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, he's still going good up there, doing a job. You know, I've spoken to him a few times, he had a message, but no deep conversations, so he's probably pretty tired, really.
Yeah, I'm sure he's tired after. Well, we've only done, this will be stage 6 for us, but of course he's got 3 weeks of stages in his legs, and the Champs-Élysées is pretty brutal, isn't it? I mean, everybody thinks it's flat and it's fast, and it isn't. It's got the big climb going up to the Arc de Triomphe, and of course the underpass, but it's rough as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you say, everyone. I think it's, you know, I've never ridden the Champs-Élysées, but in real life, it's not. Everyone thinks it's flat, but that's pretty grippy, you know. Going, you can see on the tour it's always lined out the Champs-Élysées without the Triomphe, so it's pretty similar to the chain gang, really, you know. Who dares wins up to the arch, and try and throw a few caps lock messages out and get them back in order.
Yep. So are we going to have a couple of steady laps, 3 steady laps, 4 steady laps? How long do you think you're going to be able to hold it?
I wouldn't say we'd have 4, but you know, we'll try and do 3.2k steady.
That would be nice.
Then we'll just look after people for another lap. Then try and up the pace with looking after people still, and that'll work.
I'm sure.
We'll throw a couple of sprints in there, and then we'll see. We might do 2 laps full gas, or if the moment ceases, we might do 2.5, 3. You never know.
Wow. Okay.
Well, everyone's looking.
I'll look forward to seeing how everybody gets on, and hopefully a nice steady start, so we can cover everybody from the word go rather than chasing people round the course from the word go, which is always good. That's for sure.
You know when to get your concentration cap on now, Matt. When 3 caps lock goes go on screen, then you know that it's time to get going. But
yeah. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a late one. I'm hoping for the last lap, to be honest. I need a little bit more of Benchenko's Magical Grand Tour coffee before you press the word go. So I'm hoping there's going to be some supplies busting post-tour.
Yeah, I spoke to him the other day. Hey, how you think for getting some coffee out to mine while you were on holiday in France? And he was like, oh yeah, sort it out. On
holiday.
So he's got to be on holiday now with Bernal out the race, and he'll just be doing nothing really.
Well, yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but apparently today's stage is well worth watching if you know which team that Big Ben works for. And I won't say any more than that because I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they haven't watched the highlights. So we're going to watch the highlights. So we'll let everybody get ready. We've got a couple of minutes to go. I'm going to let you get off. We're going to just show everybody the course and what we've got in store for everyone. So Russ, good luck. Thank you very much. And Abianto.
Yeah, good to have you back, mate. And I think everyone missed you, so they'll all be chomping at the bit to put in a good performance and watch themselves either later tonight or in the sneaky dinner hour tomorrow or whatever they do.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, the more people that watch it, the better it is. It's certainly makes it worthwhile. That's for sure. Right, mate. Good luck.
Cheers,
have
mate.
fun.
You do your stats and I'll do some warm up.
That's the one. We'll speak soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
So that was Russ Downing, of course, the bear himself. He's the rider in the centre of the screen at the moment in the grey there on the red and black Pinarello, all lined up ready to go. The man with the yellow beacon on our red beacon is back once again. Martin Bolt back with us, and great to see him. Let's show you the course before the riders set off, and let's show you the Champs-Élysées in all of its glory, because we have what is basically a anti-clockwise circuit. We come out and join from the chevrons. We go round the loop, which is down at the bottom, and that is the Tuileries Gardens. That's around the Jardin de Tuileries, which is the Tuileries Gardens, basically round the gardens, under the underpass at the bottom of what is the shovel end of it, all the way up the long handle to the very top of the handle, which is where the Arc de Triomphe is. That little roundabout at the top, a little roundabout. If you've ever been round it, it's mad. It's absolutely manic. So around the roundabout at the top and then drop back down again. Now, we talked about it being hilly. It is. There's only 34 metres of ascent in the course. But once you do the leading, which is relatively flat, the big height is in the long climb. It's actually about 1.3k long is the climb up to the Arc de Triomphe. So, show you the profile. This explains it probably better than I can because we have the wonderful graphics, courtesy of fellow viewer, the professional team's tools that all of the DSs use. And as you can see, we've got a really simple, no reds in there, no oranges in the graphics, because it's not that steep. It's about 4% drop and 4% climb in the underpass. That's hardly anything. And it's over really, really quick. It's only about 40-50 metre climb. Where it is difficult is the long gradual drag going up to the roundabout at the top, and that is where we have to keep everybody together, because once our riders go up the slope, when they get to the top and it goes over the crest of the roundabout, that's when it splits apart. And then as they go off the other side, those gaps increase. Now, because the length of the aerodynamic drag is static, 6 metres, that means anybody more than 3 bike lengths back will get a pasting, and that makes life very, very difficult indeed. So we are going to jump in live with the guys out there, and let's see if we can bring you all of the goodness that is the Donny chain gang. Our riders just setting off as we speak. So remember the shape of this, so it's the flat section around the handle, and then we're going to be running up on the climb, just about to head and take the right hand turn to start our way out and around the garden. So let's dive across to the riders, and we're live down in Paris. So here we go. You can see our riders at the moment just shooting the way around, and we are going to get ready to head across as the riders are running the way in, so you can see now, and going to make the way down along the banks of the Seine. So just going to knock the noise down from our mice that are right down in the bunch at the moment, and we'll get you some of the details that you've seen on your screen. Big screen, centre of the screen, rust downing with messages at the moment telling everybody that we need the extra distance to give us the space and the gap at the back to allow us to go right through the groups. If we finish on the line, we can cover the first rider. We can't cover every rider afterwards. The aim is to get to the finish and go over the finish, and then as the riders slow down past that, that allows me a chance to get back and cover all the other riders, because on the chain gang it's all about all of our riders, it's not just about one of them. And as you can see, our riders are working the way down on through these cobbled sections. Let's jump up with the helicopter at the moment as they make their way down through the Seine, and they're just rolling along. I think one or two people just being a little bit distanced on the way through, just having a little look. Looks like Mike Hargreaves just having a little bit of an issue at the back. He's working hard here at 4.5 watts per kilo. Now you can see his wattage is up top left hand side of your screen, heading up at the moment at 400 watts, heading up to 5 watts per kilo, and he's just taking that left hand turn now. He's going to drop down underneath the underpass, and let's just follow him as he starts to make his way back on. Luke Taylor just waiting for him as we go down. I think we're going to see Hargreaves coming on. Mike Hargreaves just dropping onto the wheel of Luke Taylor. Here he comes under the underpass, up the climb on the other side. 3%, 4%, 5%, 6% of it. It's a very, very fractional period of time that you are distanced. Top right of your screen, you will see the percentage graded. You can also see the map, which is changed at the moment. We have the long view in, we have the 3D view, and we have the close-up view, which shows us just where our riders are. And if we drop back up here, you can just about see we're going to go in over the top, and just Hargreaves here making his way through the bunch, just making his way up towards the front. So we're going to drop down around the sides. Let's take a look at some of our riders who are in. Lots of our radius, Solid Inslee in here. Seeing Maddie Smith is back once again. That's like a Raccoon's back in again. Balls in. Craig Herring is back with us. Can see Craig back again. Looks like Mel Blackford is here. Andy Thornley, another of our regulars. Alan from Bolsover. That's Alan Parsons. Man with a very nice bike coming up. He's running on his winter bike today, so he's got the mudguards on, going over the cobbles at the moment. Looks like Ferrand is here as well. It really is a who's who. Gibbo is in, James Allen is here, Martin Bolt, Simonate's in, Paul Simonate, Paul Lindley is in, and the group now just making the way. This is the joining section of the course. If we zoom out, you'll see that we're now going up on to the handle, and we're about to cross the line for the first time. We've got 6 full laps of the course to do, and our riders at the moment nicely bunched together. The yellow beacon is Russ, our leader. The red beacon, that is going to be Martin Bolt. And if we drop down in with the riders, let's get a rider's view as they come in and through. This is Mr. Farron's view as he rides up, and this is what he's going to be seeing on screen. This is the finish line, and you can see the rise in front for our riders, and this is the climb up to the Champs-Elysees. So we're riding literally in the Oakleys of Mr. Farrand here, going up the climb. And it is a pretty big climb here. So you can see at the moment it's 0%, a slight drop down at the moment. And if we jump out from our riders, we can back right off and look over the top of this group hurtling along. And it's still just about all together, no major gaps in there at the moment. Now 1% at the moment as we come up through what is a roundabout in real life. now moving up towards the climb, and you can see it just starting to pick up in terms of gradient at the moment. Our riders just holding it together at the moment. 250 watts from Farrand. Let's have a little look at some more of our riders. It's going to be really, really busy in there at the moment. 3% now, and then it's going to ease off slightly. What you see here is it goes, and it's a false flat, almost goes to 2%. It's going to drop away down once more, then we got another kick into the finish of the sprint line. The big green band indicating the sprint, which is right up at the top. We're not going to hit that this time round. Just taking a little bit of a look back, and it looks to me like the pressure on the top just starting to spread some gaps out here, so they're going to have to be careful as they go up over the top, because they are going to distance these riders as they go up and through. So as we go and zoom out slightly, we take a little bit of a look towards the back, and there are riders, 4 riders now off the back, and anyone who's up on the front is likely to get themselves the wrath of Russ Downing, a man who I think has got nothing left, needs nothing left to prove. So the aim being to hold it steady up on the front, seeing Craig Herring currently sitting at about 2.5 watts per kilo. Let's jump in with Martin Rigby. Martin, another of our regulars. And Martin is here in the Training Peaks jersey, but as you can see, still coming up in towards the sprint. So here we go, just going over the line. The gradient doesn't ease just yet. As you can see, 3, and then dropping down a little bit. The map on the top showing we're coming up towards the circle that takes us around the Arc de Triomphe, and this is where the group will split if it's not careful. This is where it requires everybody to work together. Looks like the beacon at the back, the red beacon just getting on. The gap's not opening up in there. It's all about holding the bunch together. Billy Nomate's just coming to the front, 2.5 watts per kilo max. That's nice. That's going to hold everybody together. Lee Allen is in there as well. Stanley Man's back again from Sheffield. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going. So it's all about keeping the power off. What tends to happen, riders roll into the front too fast, splits the gaps open, then somebody responds, tries to jump back on it again, and as you can see, as we're going around here, we'll drop up in with the camera. You can just see in the middle of the bunch there, 2 or 3 splits start. Now at the moment, with everybody taking it reasonably steady, sitting sub 3 watts per kilo, it's keeping those gaps to a minimum. The second anybody puts the hammer on wrong, the Champs-Élysées, it will split, and that is a tactic that will be used later by our riders who are in for the kill at the finish, because they know if they go up there they can split it and they will tear that group completely apart as they go up and over. So just dropping in with the riders. If we take a little bit of a look back with our drone cam here, you can see the gaps have opened up slightly behind. Looks like one rider just slightly off the back of the group at the minute. And let's have a little look. Is it one of our regulars who knows the score and is going to be able to ride back in? It certainly is, because I think it is Johnny Lightfoot who is just distanced a little bit. Let's just drop in with Johnny. Johnny's up at 6 watts per kilo, just chasing on. And as you can see, Johnny at the moment working hard to get back in again. Really high res, 117 res per minute. And kicking out 400, nearly 500 watts just to get back into the group. And it shows you how hard you've got to work. Once you're distanced from that group, Johnny Lightfoot at the moment not closing that gap too much. It's 2 seconds that gap, and he may well need the guys on the front to back it off a little bit, because he can't close the gap down. He's absolutely busted a gut here, and I think we may need to just back off on the front, because that gap has gone, and Lightfoot is being distanced here. That's 2 seconds has gone now to 3 seconds, and I think you're going to see George Cooper coming back for Mr. Lightfoot here. So George doing a business here. He's dropping back. George in full-time education. When we say full-time education, I think he's just made it into primary school. Sorry, George, you're not that young, but feels like it. You know, just back in school, and you can see George dropping back. to pick up another rider. Looks like Callaway's doing the same. This is what we want to see. So Callaway now going to kick out 12 watts per kilo, 13 watts per kilo. Luke Taylor's coming back to pick up the riders coming through. And it's all about getting the group. Now, you saw Lightfoot couldn't get it back together again on his own. All the riders, every time these groups come back through, that is when it gets picked up. That's when the riders get the gaps together and they can fly past each other, and then that is what brings them back into the group. Now, Simonite timed it wrong here. He's slightly out the back here. He's going to need to just pick this up a little bit. Let's jump up about him. Now, let's see where he's going to be. Alan Parsons dropping to help back as well. Alan picks it up nice and early at 6.4 watts per kilo. And I think Alan is going to drop back in. James Allen dropping back as well, helping. And it's all about working as a group. And you can see as Simonite gets back on again, and it looks like everybody is back with us after dropping back, making their way back in towards the bunch. And that's what we want to see. If you're strong on a chain gang, it's what you do in real life. You go to the back, you help the guys at the back get on. If they get dropped, you bring them back onto the front, so you get in towards the end, and that's when it's time to go. Now, as we came around the lap that time, we now managed to hold everybody back in together. Russ just sitting down near the back with James Allen by the look of it, probably holding hands, those two. They seem to spend a lot of time riding around together on the chain gang. So you watch them come through now. The first cyclist took a Strava segment on Tuesday's chain gang, doing a great ride. Fat Cyclist, one of our regulars, is a big sprinter and puts out a lot of power. And great to see lots of our regulars back in. Looks like Eddie Dench is back in once again. Eddie is going to be there in the bikes and beer. Bikes and beer jersey somewhere. Let's take a little bit of a look. We'll zoom down in on him. Here's AD. So AD just riding his bikes and beers jersey and looking pretty smooth. 68 revs per minute. Typical testers revs there from AD. As we take a little look. Finney's in this group as well. Now here we go into the underpass as a group. Hopefully those gaps not opening up too much. The camera's going to just drop down a little bit. We're going to lose a little bit of altitude and drop down towards the riders just to get ourselves into the tunnel. And as you can see, just dropping out the back. Now let's take a little bit of a look on the front. Not too much pressure needs to be applied on this little gradient. It's a steep little kicker. It's nothing too drastic, and it looks like everybody holding together at the moment. Russ just drifted off a little bit off the back here. That's the rest of the group working well. So we're watching the riders coming in and through. We're just going to see if we've got some new names in here. Looks like Nick Dorsey's back for some more hard work. Nick riding here. As you can see, also known as the Incredible Hulk, and his avatar is definitely reminiscent of mine there. The bulging biceps and forearms, classic of one of the bigger riders who is out and riding, and Nick sitting in with this rear group, just chasing the way in as well. Good to see Gail Phillips made her way back in again. Becky Story in this group. Well, both riders who we know are going to do well on this course. Becky Story, of course, regularly our fastest all-female finisher on the chain gang. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a look up near the front. Let's see who is right in. I think the group at the back now nicely sticking together, which is always good to see. And looks like the guys on the front just holding just sub 3 watts per kilo, holding it nice and tight. And that's what we want to see as these groups come through. Russ and Nick Dorsey just pulling that group in towards the back there. Now, one rider who might have finally mastered the tech is a certain Miss Cookie. We just try and get a quick view as we work our way around. First chain gang was on one of our Champs-Élysées stages before, and now back with us once again, having at least mastered how to get onto the chain gang. Might have managed to master the messenger as well. Let's take a little bit of a look at Noah Dallinson, another of our newer riders here. Noah riding here on the Zwift bike in the orange Zwift jersey. Nice quiff, mate. Proper hairstyle there, clearly. And good to see Noah sitting comfortably in there, 70 revs per minute, 135 watts, and just feeling his way through that group, I think, at the moment. Taking a drink. Remember, guys, stay hydrated. He's absolutely scorching out there. He was out with the trail dog, Indiana. Don't get himself into trouble. He managed to do it again this time round out on the trails as we were out. This time it was getting stuck in a tunnel underneath a bridge in the bog. But, you know, less of my troubles. At least it kept him cool, and that's what our riders are going to need to do. It's really, really warm. 2 fans tonight if you're on the turbo. An absolute minimum as far as I'm concerned. That is for sure. Noah Dallinson riding comfortably, though, in this grip. As our riders will make their way up the climb once again. So Noah doing a great job here. Looks like Miss Cookie in the group. Emma Collier is in this group as well. Looks like Sal's in here. Fat Cyclist, Finny, Gail Phillips riding strongly. And this is what we want to see on the chain gang. Everybody helping each other out. If you're a strong rider, go back and look after the riders behind. If you're one of our riders who's maybe having a hard time, get on the message board. Ask for a shout out. If you get dropped, let people know. And riders can come back and give you a hand. There's always plenty of people looking for a workout. So the green banner just about to be dispatched very shortly. Good to see Craig Sallin is back with us. I love Craig's picture. Don't forget you can go on and check out the riders on the companion app. And Craig's is a proper old school picture there with a very, very nice old Campag disc. So let's take a little bit of a look. Craig now riding with a beard on some deep rims there. Not, I think both those rims deeper than the front wheel that he had on his track bike when he was riding. And I think that has got to be a GB kit. I'm just taking a little bit of a look there. Just very difficult to tell from the avatar. I'm going to have a look later on. Don't get, of course, all of this possible because of the work done by Zwift to bring this fantastic platform to us, and of course helping out the chain gang as well with some processing power. You know, Russ Downing and myself, Matt Payne, we do this for nothing. We're basically just doing it to keep all of our riders together, to give you something to focus on, to keep people together in lockdown number 1. Hopefully we won't have a lockdown number 2. If we do, our aim is to keep it running as long as we can through there. There will be a time limit when I actually have to go out and get a proper job, but hopefully that won't be just yet. At the moment, able to put our time into this. We would like, of course, some support on this, and if you think this would be a great way to get your company's name out there, then don't forget to get in touch with Russ Downing, Russ at Downing Cycling, because of course we go out live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel, and or myself, Matt, at fullspeedevents.com. And we are definitely after a little bit of support on the way through. That would make life a little bit easier. That's whilst we do like to look after the sponsors who've looked after Russ and Downing Cycling, as well as myself. It would be good to manage to get this to turn into something that was sustainable. I wasn't just reliant on Russ and myself basically having absolutely no work, because there's only so long the unemployed can keep supporting it. It's pretty simple. Miss Halifax doesn't take my me doing this very kindly, it has to be said. So get yourselves in, get in touch. At the moment, big please out is for the webcam, because at the moment the main webcam that I used to use for broadcasting is currently died, so we need one which actually has some colour in it rather than the reserve one at the moment. If you have a little look at home, give us a shout if you've got one kicking about. In the meantime, looks like a couple of groups forming here. Just take a little bit of a look at the front of this group just to see how fast it's going. Excuse me, rolling round at about 2 watts per kilo, and at the moment it's looking like they're not going too quickly here, but we've got a big old gap opened up. Look at this. Behind is a second group of riders and one rider out the back, so it could well be we're going to see a shout out to knock the pace off a little bit on the front. Looks like number of riders just taking a bit of a pasting. on the chain gang, looks like Mr. Miller and Simonite at the moment having to do nearly 6 watts per kilo. They're distanced behind the first wave, in fact behind the second wave of riders. So let's have a little look. The guys at the back working hard here. Miller jumping on the back wheel of Simonite. Simonite's working hard in this group. Just going to take a look back from Miller. He's the last rider of this duo at the moment. Let's take a little bit of a look up the road. He can see you can see just following Simonite as they go along, but you can see that gap has opened up. It's at 9 seconds now. They're doing 6 watts per kilo on the front here, trying to close the gap down. Are we going to see some riders coming back? Who's going to be doing it? Looks like George Cooper could well be at the back of the group, just dropping back. James Allen again dropping back. We'll just take a little bit of a look as we go up into the air. You will soon be able to see who's dropping back for them at the moment. We just take a look on the map, which is coming into the gardens. And as we come in, we're going to take the right hand turn at the moment. These guys are chasing hard. They're just pulling that group down. Let's take a little bit of a look here. Looks like Miller is in. George Cooper's gone back for them, but George's not going to need to do too much work here, I think, as he kicks himself back into the group. George, a 4-bay ambassador riding for Sherwood Pine Cycles, one of our youngest riders, and always willing to help out with the riders at the back. So the guys are working their way around and back into the group. It looks like just one rider off the back at the moment. And I think it's a pretty experienced rider by the look of the bike. I think Daniel Farrand is just off the back at the moment. And Farrand's gone for the back. He's going to try and kick his way back on again. 7 seconds. Farrand's kicking out nearly 8 watts per kilo in an attempt to get back onto the group. Is he going to be able to get himself back on? He's putting in a big old kick here. That gap's definitely coming down to 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Is he going to get it down even more? You can't put in too many kicks. He's going to get back in again. Looks like Craig Sellen just starting to go off the bat. Let's see if Craig's going to put a sprint back in to get back on. He certainly is. Nice wattage coming out from Craig, showing those track skills here, kicking out 11 watts per kilo and just revving it up, stretching those legs out as he gets himself back in with the group. You see him taking that left hand turn, and as we start to zoom in on the riders, down into the underpass they go, and underneath the entry they go. Our riders are working really well together today. Great to see the end of the Downing Cycling Donny Chain Gang. The riders are working so well together to keep everybody in this group, and it's one big blob. If we look at the right hand top corner of your screen, we move the map, try and get it zoomed in as much as we can. You can see it's so tight, one nice big group. Now the aim will be to get everybody into the sprint together, into the green sprint together. Tricky to do because people tend to wind up too early. If you're going to go for the sprint, it's one of the most difficult sprints on Zwift. The ones at the Marina sprint is particularly hard over in France, particularly because on some approaches you get less than 25 meters of view of it. A lot of the riders actually change their camera angle to get a better view of when they're rolling into the corner and the distance out. But this is tricky because it has a rise, a flat and a rise again. It's 150 meters long is the sprint here in France, in Paris on the Champs-Elysees, and that means that 150 meter line doesn't give you long to kick up. It suits a sprinter who's got a big power output for a short space of time, so they will be wanting to keep the speed down. Some of the guys who've got a longer but less powerful kick will be looking to wind it up earlier. You can see that pace is picking up. We're at 45 kph and we're still a long way out, and there's going to be riders going to get caught out here if they're not careful, because they're going to have dropped the wheel. The gaps have opened up, and Noah Dallinson needs to pick up the pace, jump onto Miller's wheel here, They've got 2 seconds, 3 seconds to the back of the bunch. They are going to be distanced already as we come in. It's starting to wind up early, and it looks like the 2 riders off the back here, Dallison and Miller, are going to be our 2 who are going to be in trouble if they're not careful. The regroup at the top will help, but we've got 1.3k to go to get up to the front of that group as we see yet more PRs from our riders. It's snowing PRs out there as they come in and through, and that means it's their fastest time in the last 30 days around this circuit. Now, our 2 riders at the back are trying to work themselves into the group. Let's see who's on the form, who's going to be kicking well up this. It is a horrible sprint to time right, but lots of our riders have the power, have the speed to do so. Let's take a little bit of a look at the fat cyclist. Is he going to be the rider? No pressure, mate, but we're going to be watching. The big man in black this time round, he could well be our rider who's going to be in and putting in that fastest time. He's a regular on the chain gang, but is today going to be the day when he can make it count? You can see that green banner coming up. At the moment we're on 3%. Now the key with this is not to go too soon. There is a rise and level before we get there. At the moment the front group just winding it up about 4 watts per kilo. Riders at the back just about holding into the group, but it will split over the top, and it's where we need our riders to back right off. Now, plenty of riders putting on the pressure on the front here, starting to open up the gaps already, and that is a dangerous thing to do at the moment, because I think they could be in trouble if they go too soon here. The key to this is not to go early. The sprint line comes up as you go, and it levels off, and then it goes again. Now, watching for that sprint line, or watching the fat cyclist, our rider in the black here. How soon is he going to go? Is he going to take on this sprint? He's in the right place to go for this. He's at 6.3, 7.3. Now comes the kick, and he's got a feather on board here as well. Is he going to take the fastest time? Is he going to pull it through? You can see he's using the slipstream to his advantage. It was Russ Downing who's got a 10.1 second time. The fat cyclist coming with a 10.36 in third, and a slew of riders, 6 riders coming through with sub 11 seconds on that. That's very fast indeed. So Russ Downing, Rich Dobson, it's James Allen, Kooslugs, Andy Thornley in there as well. Those are our 6 riders all inside of the time of 10 seconds. Becky Story taking the fastest women's time. Becky with an 11.73, and this is where we're going to need to do a bit of a regroup, guys. So if you're on the front, please guys, can you make front group sub 2 watts per kilo, please guys, sub 2 watts per kilo. So it's going to need to be sub 2 watts per kilo for all these riders to get back in. You can see that the gaps have well and truly opened up. If we take a little bit of a look around, we're going to drop up into the eye on the sky, see if we can see there's one rider just on the climb up of the Champs-Elysees. But the guys on the front definitely need to be less than 2 watts per kilo, or they are going to be dropping. The riders might have to go to sub 1 yet. That depends on how smooth everybody is and how controlled they are. Again, everybody back together again. As we take a little bit of a look back, you can see we have riders distanced out all the way up this long slope at the moment. Guys on the front are rolling down in and through, and just trying to keep the watts per kilo down. Looks like Ian Russell dropping to sub 2. Problem is people roll on the front at 2.5, 2.7s, 2.9s. Way too quick, because what it's doing is it's distancing the guys behind. It just literally rolls that pack speed fast. Let's see if everybody can just keep that nice and steady. So fastest you need to roll on the front at the moment is 2 watts per kilo. Anything more than that, guys, you are going to distance this group behind, and then you're going to have to hang around and wait just like you do on a club run. So let's see if that's going to happen, whether people are going to hold it together. Just taking a little bit of a look at this time gap at the moment. to the group behind, and it looks like it's going to be about 16 to 30 seconds depending on where people are at the moment. Just going to drop in with, I think, the last rider out on course. I think it is going to be Noah Dallinson. Noah with, I think, a little bit of a dropout. And then just taking a look, Emma Collier at the moment just getting distance slightly on the way over the top. Then it's going to be Miss Cookie, who's in a group here with Gail Phillips as well, but they're 55 seconds down, and that is the damage. This group was together as they came up on to the roundabout by the Champs-Élysées. The moment this group of three, then by no means the last riders on the course, but they have a gap of 52 seconds to the riders in front, and we've got some really good riders, Richards, Farrand, Inslee, Hepton, Catley sandwiched in between at the moment. They're going to need to try and get themselves back into that group. Looks like it is Dallinson, our lost rider at the moment, on the course. He's at 1 minute 29 down on this group with Gail Phillips. Emma Collier's at 15 seconds behind. She's on her own trying to get herself back into this group with Gail Phillips, Anderson and Cookie. The group. So at the moment I think Collier just being distanced a little bit by this group of three who are just about to pick up Catley. Catley's the next rider who's going to be seeing them. Here he is, and he's going to see them coming through. Time to pick it up, mate. Time for a big kick to get into the group. Come on, John. This is the time where you need to get those revs wound up, and I think John's going to be pulling that group in together. If we take a little bit of a look out, you can see we are split into a number of groups at the moment. So Kelly, etc. and co, they're at 55 seconds. Collier is currently at 1 minute to 23. Looks like Dallinson not making that turn just yet. He's going to appear on our screens very shortly. Now 15 seconds in front of this group, we are going to have a group. This is going to be Farrand is Richards. So at the moment this is Farrand on the front of the group. Then it's Richards. Let's take a little look at Richards. He's the man in the Peugeot top. Inslee in there in the white with the Specialised S Works underneath. Then we're going to have Hepton sitting in with this group as well. Hepton just on the other side here in the grey. These riders at the moment have 17 seconds on Catley and Co and Anderson at the moment, and they have 27 seconds on the group in front. So these two groups not able to close that gap down at the moment. The back of the main bunch is Lindley, and it's now 45 seconds back to the group with Cookie in there at the moment. We're just taking a little look. It's going to update as we come around, as we go underneath. It's going to be interesting to see. So at the moment, three groups on the road. Daniel Farrand's trying to get back on here. So this is group number one, who are out on the road. I think the word has been to pull the pressure off the front group at the moment. So this is group number one on the road. Group number one at the moment. This group has a gap of 41 seconds to Daniel Farrand. Daniel is in this group. This is our chasing group behind, and just going to watch those time gaps. So it looks like it's 30 seconds behind James Allen now for the Farrand group, and it's 19 seconds or so, 20 seconds back to the Catley group. So Daniel Farrand of Bolsover and District with Sonia Inslee from the same club. Still in the business, my home club. And Sonia is in there, so they should get on if they can continue onwards at this pace. Hepton's in here. Hepton working hard to try and stay on those wheels. Just a little bit of a gap opening behind him, and you can just see it's Richards who's going to have to pull into this group. And I think we're just taking a little bit of a look as they come in and through behind them. Then that's Richards at the back of the group. Gail Phillips in a group of four here. So Gail Phillips, Miss Cookie, it's then going to be John Catley in the group, and Anderson as well. It's this group of four that are chasing the Richards, Inslee, Farrand group, who are 23 seconds up the road, but the leading bunch are now at 1 minute and that is going to make things very difficult indeed. Emma Collier getting caught out on that gap. It could well be that Emma's had a tech issue, because she's a rider who we know is more than capable of sitting with the leading group, and at the moment just being distanced a little bit. So just take a little bit of a look up the road. This is the Anderson, Catley, Phillips and Cookie group. And they've got about 40 seconds on Cookie at the moment. They're 23 seconds down on the group of Inslee, Richards, Hepton and Farrand. Farrand just working his way up on the front, just sitting in with this group. That gap now allegedly down to 25 seconds. Let's take a little bit of a look. I think we've got a little bit of a posse just sitting waiting for that group to get a little bit closer. So Callaway it is, who is just near the back of the bunch, just letting it drop back. You can see his arrow. He's the blue arrow on the top right of your screen. Behind him then Luke Taylor with Martin Bolt. We'll just take a look at these two. Bolt just rolling his way up towards that bunch. So Taylor is waiting. Matlock's back with us again, and he's back in the group, waiting to help pull people forward. It's like James Allen is in this group. Mike Bolt's waiting. Farron's waiting. They're all going to wait and look at this, trying to bring the group back in together. The front bunch is up the road. There are one or two riders behind. However, this group behind are working their socks off here to try and come back on. They've got to rise on this climb here to try and do it. You've got Richards, you've got Farron, you've got Hepton, you've got Inslee. They're working hard. Looks like a feather has just gone in. I think that is currently in with Inslee, who's got the feather on the go at the moment. It is just trying to reduce the weight. It's a 10% reduction. It used to be 10 kilos across the board. Now it is, at the moment, a 10% weight reduction. That really does help now. Looks like Richards also putting in the percentage to see where they're at. They're at 19 seconds at the moment, I think. The current time check behind them, then 28 seconds back to Gail Phillips and co here. And this group working hard, who's just being distanced a little bit here. I think it's going to be Catley. Come on, John, get yourself back on those wheels at the moment. Catley just working his way back in as well, and they're not too far off the pace. John Catley's going to be feeling the pressure on this climb. He's got a lightweight bike. He's got the lightest frame on Zwift. He's got some fairly lightweight wheels on there, and I think if we just take a little bit of a look, yep, he's on pretty lightweight kit, and just trying to make sure that it doesn't get penalised too much at the moment, working his way on. They are currently at 30 seconds approximately to the Farrand group, and about 30 seconds up to the lead group. So Russ Downing sitting up with that leading group is soon going to be seen behind him. If we take a little bit of a look behind, he's going to see that next group coming up. So we have a group currently sitting at what is 5 seconds behind, and then we have got a second group at 35 seconds behind. So 5 seconds and 35 seconds. We've got 25k covered. The group coming on, so as the Fat Cyclist says, easy over the top. That gap really has opened up. It's 23 seconds from Russ Downing to the absolute back of the group. If we go up to the very front, we can work our way right towards the very front of the group. It's still being held off the pace here, but it looks to me like the guys are just trying to keep that pace off, but as you can see, they're now on that descent. Let's take a little bit of a look back, see where Russ is at the moment. I think we're going to find Russ Downing is currently sitting at 30 seconds on the group. He is, so it's 30 seconds between the front group and the chasing group behind, with Russ in there. And it looks like there's a real big conglomeration of riders who've got to make it back in. So let's take a little bit of a look at this group. It's currently very close to Russ now. Russ at the moment just trying to jump onto the Beacons group here. This is Charlton, Dorsey, Taylor, and looks like a Bolt in there as well behind. You can just see there is a multitude of riders trying to close down the gap on to Russ at the moment. And Russ just in that pack, just working his way up towards the front. We're just going to try and drop a little bit further back. Now we have James in here, he has got Alan Parsons chasing behind. He's got Farrand in here, Richards in here, Hetton is in here, Inslee has made this group as well. This is a really good group. Now if this group work together, they're going to get themselves back into that front group behind them then. 38 seconds down. This is our next group of riders. Now we've got John Catley in here, Gail Phillips in here, Miss Cookies in here, and we've got Anderson in this group as well. So Chris Anderson at the moment in there, he's currently at 39 seconds, and I don't think this group are going to get back in again. Is the Farrand group going to get back in? They're working hard here. Looks like Alan just in front of them is about 4 seconds up at the moment. You can just see this group is working hard. They're at 7 seconds on Bolt. They're 14 seconds on the lead group. So let's take a little bit of a look at what that looks like on your screen. Your leading group are just about to come level with the gantry. The beacon group with the red and yellow beacon are currently sitting a little bit further back. That looks like they are currently sitting at about 6 seconds back on the lead group. Behind them then you've got riders chasing on, and I think James Allen and Alan Parsons at the moment. At the back of that group then we have 6 seconds down on the group containing James Allen. 7 seconds down we've got Richards, Farrand, Inslee, Hepton in there. Catley I think has just got to the front of the chasing group, who are now at 40 seconds. They're not going to come back. The question is, can the Farrand group, who are chasing so hard, they've chased all the way, right the way up onto the top. Remember, they were distanced as they went over the climb last time round. They've spent a whole lap and a half now nearly trying to chase that gap back down again. And time is going to be running out from if they're not careful. Farrand is working really hard here. Alan Parsons is in this group as well. Let's just take a quick look, see if Alan's on his winter bike. So Alan on his winter bike at the moment, looking pretty smooth as he goes through. Alan, yours is blue by the way. Very nice, but your real one is blue. The guys at the moment working hard behind here. So it is Alan from Bolsover, then it's Farrand from Bolsover, then it's Hepton, and then Richards, Inslee. This is the group who are trying to work their way back on at the moment. It's 23 seconds. At the moment, the time gap is yo-yoing a little bit at the moment. Let's take a little bit of a look up with the leading group just in with Hargreaves at the moment. So let's take a little bit of a zoom out at the moment. This is our leading group now. Martin Bolt has come to the back of that leading group. Scott Allen looks like Maddie Smith's in there. Steve Holmes is in there. 23 seconds back is the gap back to Hepton and Co and Farrand. And looks like there's a little bit more pressure coming on into the front group. We're just working our way up towards the very front of it. Dropping in with George Cooper, one of our young riders. In with this leading group. George is there in the red at the moment. Real life riding the green and black of Sherwood Pine Cycles. Now this leading group just making the way around. George will be kicking out a lot of watts per kilo for very little watts because he's one of our lightest riders. As you can see, he's having to do a fair amount more watts than the riders around him. And you can see he's doing about 3.2 and everybody else is doing about 2.5. And that's quite simply because he's one of our lightweight riders. Now the question is, when is it going to go pop? I'm not sure. We shall soon see. Just in with Billy No Mates at the moment. We're just taking a look on the screen. Russ teasing everybody at the moment. This is the leading group. Got 1 or 2 riders being distanced here. So let's see. Oh, Craig Herring wanting to regroup after it. 15k now from Radcliffe, straight after green for Alan. No, not yet. It's not. Is anybody going to jump early? Is anybody dare jump early? They're going to get such a Mickey taken if they do. Ted's in this group. Good to see Ted's back in this group. It's a real who's who of regulars here. Now, the guys are holding on at the moment. They're just about holding steady. There are 1 or 2 riders distanced out the back. Then there's a couple of big groups that have been working their socks off to get on. They've not made it back on. Not yet. coming through, looking very smooth. There's some very nervous riders in here. Chris Heseltine James, he's been quiet on his way through at the moment. There's definitely nervous riders because the pace is picking up on this group at the front. So I think the flag is going to be dropped if we go for it. So we're going to have the flag is going to be dropped on the group the moment we've gone through the sprint. So we have the sprint, it's going to be through the green banner, then it's going to be the flag is going to be dropped to deneutralise the second that they've gone underneath it. Now the question is anybody going to be silly enough to go for the sprint and then try and do it? So let's see, we are not at the point of off. We do one, it's going to be close. This is our leading group at the moment. We're now up onto the climb. We know it's going to go absolutely mental the moment we've gone through the banner. The question is anybody going to try and take it from the banner, or is everybody going to wait and see where it's going to go? We're just taking a little bit of a look in. We're still sitting with Ted, who's comfortably in this group. This is our leading the group. One or two people down near the back are going to be feeling the pressure now as we are on to the slopes, currently at 2%. If we drop right down and head up alongside, you can see just how gradual this climb is. It's gone up to 3% at the moment. Plenty of boost going in, plenty of those gain bonuses being used here. Looks like Fraser is in this group nicely as well. Plenty of riders staying in. Russ rolling his way up now towards the front of the group. Now what is Russ going to do? It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. You can see these riders all bunched up together, working their way up towards that sprint line. At what point will it be go? What point is Russ going to drop that banner? When are we going to see it all go absolutely mental? I can't imagine it's going to be long. So let's jump in with Russ. Here we go. Russ Down is sat in there. They're underneath the sprint line. They're on that gradual run through towards the line. And I think there's been another snow of PRs. There certainly has. There are plenty of people with plenty of legs in here. Russ currently at 7 watts per kilo. Just cruising his way up to the front. Just going to patrol that out again. Let's see. Becky Story in with the group riding almost alongside Russ. And go, 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 go goes the signal. Now is the time when it's going to happen. Who is going to go for a long one? Are we going to see Russ on a Ekimov style, a breakaway down there? Is he going to try and do a big kick away? He's rolling his way up to the front. You can see the damage that's been done. If we zoom in around the Arc de Triomphe at the moment, our riders are definitely looking like they've taken a hammering, and the leading group, this is what's left, the last stage of Down in Cycling's Donny Chain Gang up here, being broadcast by Full Speed Events. Matt Payne here, bringing you all of the action, and it's Russ Downing leading this group down away from the Arc de Triomphe. This descent down, he's picking up speed. We're at 50 kph. Peacock now comes up on to the front, and they're rolling through pretty quickly at the moment. It's still Peacock who is holding the front of this group pretty much. He's sat in there. Can he keep it together? Becky Story jumping up onto the front. Nick Dorsey comes through. Gibbo's in this group. Thorny's here as well. Looks like Phil Ozekay's with us. And remember, he is one of our regular riders. He's the man who won the Oakley August, the men's hours Oakley August, the best story from the Chain Gang about how he's kept people together, body and soul. And he certainly had a great story. Make sure you go onto the Facebook page, our Down in Cycling Facebook page, not just to get the links, but lots of great stories on there as well. A massive thank you to Ian Taylor and the 1080 team for keeping us all entertained all the way through. Some great ideas for prizes, and of course Gail Phillips, our women's winner and women's week of those fantastic Oakleys as well. But masses and masses of t-shirts going out, caps as well as shades. And don't forget, support the people who support your sport. These are the guys who are doing the business, looking after everybody on the way through. And it's Phil who is just rolling his way off the front with Peacock at the moment, who's sat in here. Let's jump in with Thornley. He's one of our regular riders, doesn't always get featured. So let's have a little bit of a look. And Thornley is in there now. Everybody is rolling around the front. We are coming down to the split where we go right across to the banks of the Seine. This is our leading group now. It's still a big group here. This is a bunch sprint if it comes as this. This is not a breakaway group, and it's going to need to split up. There's certainly going to be riders in this group who cannot keep the control, not going to take the win if it stays at this side. So here we go with that Champs-Élysées in the background. We take that right hand turn. Our riders really are whipping the way in and around here, and they're going to take the left turn very shortly. Looks like Becky's Story in there. The rolls, the undulations really are testing our riders at the moment. Anybody with a smart trainer is going to be feeling that coming straight in and through their legs. And this is the group that is going to lead us in towards the underpass. Who is hanging on? Who is struggling? This group, if you stay in the group, you've got a chance. And behind it looks to me like everybody else is definitely out of contention here. Let's give you some time gaps back from this group as they roll the way down towards the underpass. This is how fast it has split. This is our leading group. Behind our leading group, it's about 40 seconds back to the group with Ian Taylor, Chris Hesseltine, James, and it's split on the top. So we're half a lap as we go under the underpass, and they put 42 seconds into the group as they're coming into the underpass in half a lap. That is how fast this front group is moving. The question is, who is going to be the rider who's going to take away top spot? Is it going to be Russ who's going to do that? Remember, as we came in through the sprint, it was Russ, it was Dobson, it was the fat side, it was Craig Herring, James Allen, Coos, Thornley, who we're with at the moment. They're the only 6 riders who managed to get sub 11 seconds on that uphill sprint. But who's got it when it comes to the flat sprint, because that's absolutely key. Andy Bishop in this group as well, and Ross Downing putting the hammer down on this climb here at the moment. He doesn't want to get distance at this stage. Thornley doing the same, but Russ has gone for it here, and Downing has gone for a long one, I think, here. Is Downing going to stretch this group out enough? Can he get the gap? Let's take a little bit of a look and see where he is. He's got a second's gap. That's a substantial gap at this stage, but they're coming behind him. Can he hold them off? Has he gone too early? He's tried to break that group up on the climb, but I don't think Russ has done enough. They've come back to him now, and you can just see that Lee Allen has done the work. He's pulled him back, and that group has not lost anybody. Not one rider has gone, so that attack by Russ not thinning the group out sufficiently to break it up. There are people in trouble at the back. This is all about having the power to stay with the group now. Everybody is trying to keep this together as they come around. Nobody wants to be the rider who's distanced. Looks like Mike Hargreaves is just maybe going to be the rider who's in trouble at the moment, just off the back here. So I think it is going to be Hargreaves who's going to be the rider in trouble, being distanced just as they come around that group. This is very, very close indeed. Remember, we're going for the main banner. Let's see who is going to get it. Let's jump in with George Cooper. Cooper could well be in with a chance, but he's got to have a lot of what's being kicked out here today. Gibbo is in this group nicely as well. Nick Dorsey is here. Is Nick going to be the man who's going to do it? The sprint is going to come very, very soon. We're going for it as we come in. Let's have a little look. Is anybody going to go for it? We're at 36k at the moment. It looks like who's going to go? Anybody going to kick for it? No, nobody's kicking for this one. They're going to get some fast times. Not broke that group up at the moment. We're going to go up and round. So we have one lap left to go. One more lap left to go here in Paris on the Champs-Élysées, the final stage of the Downing Cycling Chain Gang. Who is going to be able to kick this clear? Who can break this group into pieces? It's a long, long way to go to the finish. One more lap, one more climb of the interminable hill that takes you up to the Champs-Élysées. Round the Champs over the top of the Arc de Triomphe. The pressure is on, and one or two people now starting to be distanced here. One or two people just finding their legs are going pop. Looks like Luke Taylor just hanging into the back of this group here. Lindley's in here. John Allen's looking good. Dorsey's got the power on here. Can he stay with them on the climb? The fat cyclists, nobody going to go get the fastest lap of their own. They've all done this as a group going through the orange. The question is, can they do this on the climb? So it is 1 lap to go on the orange that we've just gone through, and I think there are bodies starting to be distanced at the back of the group. You can see 2, 3, 4, 5 riders off the back here. Let's try and jump down into those riders. It looks like it could well be Mel Blackford at the moment, who's working there. Gibbons has gone, Kooslugs has gone, Herring has at 45 seconds. Craig's not going to be in with a shout at the moment. Kooslugs isn't. Gibbons is at 15. Let's see. Is he going to be the man who's going to do it? No, he's not. He's been distanced by that leading group. Let's have a little look. Russell has gone off the back. Blackford's gone. Luke Taylor really now feeling that pressure. So look at this on this grim climb in. Hargreaves has gone. Rigby is on the back of the group. Let's take a look up from Rigby. At the moment, that group just about held together. As we take a look backwards behind him, you can see all those riders have gone. Rigby's in through that sprint. He's still kicking out to 5.4 watts per kilo. He's using that draft effect. I'm not sure whether it's close enough to take advantage of it now. George Cooper, Andy Bishop and Pritchard could be getting caught out here. Let's jump in with Pritchard. As we go on to the flat, they could be in danger of getting caught out here. You can see Bonus is going through. There's going to be power-ups in use, but look at the gap in front of them. It is opening out. They cannot afford to let that gap go. It's going to be very, very tight indeed. They've got to pull these riders back quickly. If we get onto the descent, they're going to be really in trouble. And you're just taking a little bit of a look up here. We're in now with Bundy in with that group. And you can see behind Bundy, the gap has opened up, and that is going to make things very, very difficult. If you're not in this leading group of 10 riders, you're going to be in trouble. So AD Dench has made this group. Becky Story is in here. Phil Ozike is in here. Hinchcliffe is riding in this front group as well. This is the leading group. Russ Downing, AD Dench, Fat Cyclist, James Allen, Paul Simonite, all in that leading group, looking very, very smooth indeed. They're definitely looking like they're going to be. Radcliffe is in there. It looks like Thornley's made this group as well. We know he can sprint. The Fat Cyclist has made it into the group. He's the biggest, probably most powerful rider in that group. Is it going to be the day where we see Becky Story? She's one of our lighter riders. She's regularly taken the women's prize. Is she going to take the overall this time round? She's riding strong. She's doing a lot of work on the front. Come on, Becky, sit in that group, kid. Let them do all of the harder work. And one of our lightest riders now, Thornley, in this group, working well. The Fat Cyclist in here. Let's jump in with Russ at the moment. This is our leading group, who is going to take this out on the front. It's really, really quick here. Bundy's looking good in here. He's not put his nose in front of the wind. Too much stories in here. Our women's leader on the road at the moment. Let's see if she's going to be able to take out a big scalps here. Is she going to be the one who's going to take the victory at the end? You can see we're still rolling down. We're nearly adjacent to the gantry for the finish. We literally are going to have the flat section around the gardens with the underpass left. These guys are all holding it together now. Is James Allen going to take victory? Remember, he stood in on this course on the Champs-Elysees before for us as our leader. Is it going to be his day to take away a victory up on the front? Radcliffe is on the front at the moment and looking very, very good. Just backing off a little bit in that red and white jersey. Is it going to be the rider who's going to be sitting in there? There's a lot of very cool customers in here, not doing too much work. Russ has just dropped to the back of this group. We saw Russ kick on the climb last time. Is he going to do the same this time? James Allen just leaving a little bit of a gap to roll into at the moment. And is he going to be able to pull his way up to the front? Bundy moving back up into third wheel. Hinchcliffe in fourth wheel at the moment. Hyam in fifth. They're all rolling the way around here. They've got to keep this together if they're one of the sprinters. They don't want anybody to go on this early section. Question is, who's it going to be? Time's running out for me to put my guesses in at the moment. I'm going to jump in with the Fat Cyclist. This is going to be the one I'm going to follow to the finish, I think. Famous last words, means he's going to be no pressure, mate. But this is the man who's got the... we know he's got the firepower. Is he going to be the rider who is going to take everybody as he rolls his way in and through. He's got the power. He got a good fast finish on him. Has he got enough of a fast finish on him to take out people like Russ Downing, Hinchcliffe, Radcliffe, Bundy, Story, James Allen? And it looks to me like there's a little bit of a dig going off the front here. It looks to me like James Allen's gone for yet another long one. He's not done enough to keep it clear at the moment, and they are all going round him. And I think Becky Story at the moment has just opened a little bit of a gap here as they run down and in, and that is going to be Becky, who's currently on the attack. I'm just going to try and get back in with Becky. Here we go. Becky's on that December. It is going to be against OZK, our winner of the Lasses is in there. We'll jump back in with the fat cyclist because I think he's got the power to do this. He's up with the front. Is anybody being distanced by this climb? We're up around on that rise. The group comes through together. Alan's been pulled back, being led out now by Bundy. This is going to be incredibly tight here. So as Bundy leads out, Radcliffe comes up onto the front. James Allen's gone again. Now Allen has gone long once again. They've got to answer this quickly. Let's take a little bit of a look up the road. Allen has gone for it, and they are closing that gap. They're not letting him go too far. Remember, we come around the left turn. We go onto the right where the course is joined, and that gantry comes through really, really fast indeed. Now, Allen has still got the gap. Who's going to do the work closing it down? Who's going to panic on this one? It looks to me like everybody's panicking. Everybody doesn't want James Allen to get this gap. Is he going to hold them off? This is going to be incredibly tight. Let's jump in with Allen. He's working well now. Has he got the gap? Can he hold off that bunch behind? It's opening up for him. He's currently got 3 seconds. Allen at 3 seconds. Who's going to close him down? Remember, Allen jumped in. He was the man who stepped in for Russ Downing when Russ was away. And at the moment, it's going to be tight. You can see he's come around the corner. You can see that gantry. Is he going to have done enough? Is he going to be able to hold them off? They're behind him. They're now at 4 seconds. Somebody's going to have to do this. Is it going to be Russ who's going to close him down? I think it's going to be Russ. Allen's responding to this. He's holding him at 3 seconds. Let's take a look. That gantry's coming quick. Is it going to come quick enough? Is Allen going to be able to do this? Oh, he's going to get rolled on the line, and the man who's going to take it, it is the fat cyclist who takes it over the line. Russ Downing coming through for second. Allen holds on for a third, and a podium finish there with Radcliffe coming through. I think taking 4th place there. Fantastic riding by all of that group, and just seeing them come in and through very, very quickly indeed. Great riding, guys. Becky Story taking the women's fastest time here. This is group number 2 on the road now on the way in. Just going to jump in with Dobson at the moment. He's the man in the blue. Is he going to be the man who's going to take that out? That was so close. James Allen went long there. Did he do enough to hold him off? This is our second group coming in now. And it is Dobson who is leading them out. He's putting in a kick. Charlton is behind, holding the wheels. Lee Allen. And then it is Paul Simon out behind. And a big sprint is coming here. Dobson's going to take the sprint. Dobson takes it there from Charlton. Allen and Simonette is our next group. This is the group behind. And they're going to come in for it. Who's going to take it on the line? It's Lindley who comes through with Craig Sellon, then Nick Dorsey. Next in, it's going to be Andy Bishop. And is it going to be Bishop? Is he going to get rolled? Cooper rolls him on the line there. George Cooper takes the scalp of Andy Bishop. And then it is going to be Martin Rigby, followed there by Pritchard. Now, this is our next group on the way. They're coming in thick and fast here. Let's see what's going to happen here. It is going to be Luke Taylor on that concept bike. He's got Mel Blackford in the blue and black there. He's got going to be Hargreaves there in the orange. Who is going to get this as they come in towards the line? They're almost 3 astride each other. They're alongside here. Big kick coming in from Luke Taylor. Taylor could well take this. In he goes. Taylor takes this. Then it's Hargreaves and Blackford behind them. Then this is the next group coming in, and I think Craig Herring's going to be the man who's likely to take this. It's Craig Herring who has gone in to the line. He's going to take out this next sprint. He was the man who we thought would take it. It's Herring, then Knight, then Russell, then Kooslugs, Fraser, Barton, Chris Heseltine. James comes through in that group. Gibbo is in that group. Whitehead in that group as well. The Martin Bolt is in there. Holmes is in there. Just trying to drop our way back to see where our riders are just behind. You can just see absolutely everybody making the way through. We're just going to have to drop into the right group. And I think it is going to be Holmes. Let's take a little bit of a look. I think Holmes is our next rider back as he goes in towards the line. So it's Holmes, our next rider, who's going to come in. He's on his own at the moment. So apologies for not too many time gaps at the moment, and the technology doesn't always live up to expectations. It could well just be the studio down where we are, just not getting the signal fast enough. Now this is Holmes. Behind him is Killingworth, along with Lone Rider John Lightfoot. So Johnny Two Dogs. Now we've got Killingsworth, we've got Hayward, we've got Ball. The question is, who is it going to be who's going to take this? I think Holmes is going to get overtaken on the run in towards the line. Who has got the pace to take this out? I think Maddie Smith is a little bit further back than this group, but we're just taking a little bit of a look into this group. Let's see who is going to be able to take it on at the moment. We're just in with Lone Rider, and the group being led out here. It's going to be Edwards who's going to get this. It's Edwards followed by Killingsworth, then Hawkins, Lightfoot, Lone Rider, Hayward, Holmes, Ball coming through to take that time round. This is our next group on the road. This is another elite group here. This has got Alan Parsons in the group. You just see Alan in the black there. We've got Maddie Smith riding in the greener there of Bolsover. So Maddie in this group. Looks like Sonia Inslee is in this group as well. Sonia in the grey jersey as well. It looks like Alan's in here, Finney is in here, Hepton is in here, and Farrand is in here, and the money's got to be on Farrand at the moment. He's the rider who is strong enough to go try and tow them back in. Again, the question is, has he got the power to take them all out? Hepton's gone early here, and Hepton could well be the rider who's going to take this away. There's going to have to be a response from Farrand here. He's working hard, but I don't think he's got the answer here. There's a massive kick coming in from Hepton, and the answer is coming behind it. Is it going to be Finney who's trying to close it down? But Hepton's going to take this in some style. He went early, he went long, and Hepton takes it there from Finney. Then Farrand comes across third place in this group for Farrand. Then it is Alan Parsons in fourth place, Maddie Smith in fifth. And then it is Inslee in sixth place. Now we're just going to drop back to our next group on the road. This is going to be the group with John Catley. John is the man on the front here, the big man who should have a good sprint behind then. Just sitting in this group, Gail Phillips in here. Chris Anderson is in this group as well. It looks like Miss Cookies made the group too, as well as Richards here. So this is the next group who are going to make the way. They're going to do the slight left, sharper left turn coming up, and then the right hand turn that lines them up for the finish. The question is, who is going to be taking this out now? Is it going to be Catley? He was having a hard time during the ride. He really was having to work to stay on those wheels when that group came together. Now he's one of our bigger riders. The question is, has he got enough? Chris Anderson just making his way up onto the front of the group. He's in the grey, so it's Anderson in the grey, the man in the blue, the SAS. And that is going to be Catley. Richards is in this group. Remember, Richards is the man with the Z Peugeot. Miss Cookie are leading it out at the moment in that blue camo jersey. Gail Phillips coming up on the right hand shoulder here. They're not too far from the line. They can see it approaching. Question is, who is going to kick as soonest? It looks to me like Hepton has gone to the front here, but he's got Anderson on his wheel. Anderson just comes around on the side. Looks very closely. So Anderson comes so tight as they came in through the line there. And I think it was Catley there, Anderson, Richards, Gail Phillips, and Co. all coming through very, very close together indeed. And fantastic riding as they came in through the line there. So great riding by the team there, and great to see so many riders coming in and through. So some great riding today on the Donny Chain Gang. I've got to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who's made it so entertaining today. Don't forget, if you want to support us, get in touch with us, Matt at Full Speed Events. You can get hold of me on Facebook, Matt Fix Page. Don't forget to get onto the Facebook group on the Donny Chain Gang Facebook page. You get hold of Russ at Downing Cycling. I want to say a massive thank you. You see the sponsors on your screen here. Everybody from Grand Tour Coffee to Mallorca Cycling. Don't get, of course, we have a Donny Chain Gang goes to Mallorca coming up in the spring of next year in May. Make sure you go onto the Facebook page for details of that. A massive thank you to Wahoo, to OTE, to Grand Tour Coffee, to Muck-Off, of course, to the guys at 1080 for Oakley. Big thank you to the team who get it all together for us over there from Zwift. They are absolutely amazing, and without this fantastic platform, we just can't bring you anything like this level of fun on a Tuesday and Thursday night. Remember, there's lots of riding to be had on Zwift. You can get hold of all of the links on the Zwift companion, except for the Donny Chain Gang, and of course the Donny Chain Gang, you have to be on that Facebook page. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Let's get riding, let's get everybody into the finish. Let's get out there and get it done, which we certainly did tonight. Congratulations to Becky Story and to the Fat Cyclists, our two women's and men's winners. And from me, Matt Payne, a massive thank you. Looking forward to catching you all after the weekend. If you're out racing, have a great race. Hope you get the result you want. If you're out riding, make sure that you keep it rubber side down. I'll see you on Tuesday for the next Donny Chain Gang.